This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, continuing on, Chelik Dalid, Perek Dalid, Part 4, Chapter 4, the middle of number Aleph, number 1, is what's also included in the depth of this inyan is Gilui Amitat Yichudo Yitbarach, the revealing, the revelation of God's absolute oneness. Vizeh. Kinei kvar beyanu sheklal kol hamsibot hasovav olam hazeh, olam hu shehinei bara habori barach et hara. Right? We've already explained that all the things that happen in this world, that are all these misibot hasovavot, these very roundabout, seemingly inexplicable events, is because Hashem created hara, created this entity of ra, of evil, l'sheyaviruhu b'nei adam, in order that we, mankind, humankind, can eradicate it, can rid the world of this. V'ikva'u ba'atzmam uva bria et hatov, and to establish within ourselves and within the entire creation et hatov, that which is good. V'hinei chukim rabim v'sharashim gdolim hushrashu binyan hazeh. There are many, many chukim, laws, sharashim, roots that are all working towards inyan hazeh, in order for this to reach its completion in all aspects. There are so many details that we'll find the existence of evil in the creation, its actions, and the areas where it seems to have some control. And also so many different facets of our connection to it. The degree to which we are affected by this. And we're placed betocho, in the middle of it. And how we can be mitgaber, how we can overpower it. We're getting a lot of bounce back from the other conversation.
I'm so sorry. I was interrupted myself. I shall mute myself, okay. And I apologize, and I ask for mehila.
Gemura, machula.
Mahul.
And our freeing ourselves from its grip, the kavsho oto, and eventually our absolute conquering of it. The ini mitziut tov, and also about the mitziut, the existence of tov. Hit pashto, its ability to spread. The hit chazko, and strengthening of it. Kamo kafihi kana rasha hara v'hi kavsho. The same way that to the degree that we can control the ra, that is how this will be mitchazek, the tov, the good, will be strengthened. Va'amna. Shoresh kol mitziut hara, the foundation, the root of every aspect of ra, pu'ulotav, its actions, ushlitato, and its seeming control. What is at the base of all that? What powers all of that? Hu ha'alim abari barach et yichudo. That is when God's oneness, His unity, is concealed. That it's not revealed to all. To the degree that God's presence, God's power, God's unity and oneness is hidden, that's the exact degree that Ra will have its shlita, will have its heyday, have its fun in the world. Like we explained in Chelik Rishon. V'shoresh kol bitul hara v'avarto, and therefore the root then of eradicating this ra, v'hi kaval kol abriya v'tov, and establishing the world in its perfected, beautiful, good state, is the opposite of he'elamo, is the opposite of God's presence being hidden. Rather, what is that? Gilui amitat yichudo yitbarach. It's the revealing, the revelation of God's oneness. And the pasuk says, ata ki ani hu. Right? See now that I am the one. There are no other forces. There are no disparate forces. V'chatuv l'man teidu, in order that you will know, v'tamina, believe. Lefanai lo notzar el, v'acharai lo yeh. Before me there was no power. After me there will be no more power. V'nimsa, the result is shesof tikun kol abriya, the ultimate tikkun, perfection of the entire creation, talui, is dependent on one thing, with many facets to it, but one thing at its core, gilui yichudo yitbarach, the revelation of God's oneness. V'hinei hu haya v'hoveh v'yeh tamid echad yachid u'miyuchad. He was, is, and will be constantly one, yachid, unique, miyuchad, only. Ella, but shachshav eino meguleh lakol karaoi. But now we don't see that. We don't perceive that. That's not how it appears to us in the world. But in the time to come, it'll be completely revealed and obvious to the entire creation. Like we say at the end of Aleinu 3 times a day, Bayomahu yiyeh Hashem echad ushmo echad. On that day, the time of the revelation, the time of the tikkun ha'olam, of the world being brought to its perfected state, Hashem will be one, ushmo echad, and his name will be one. The name is how we describe God, the way that we describe his interaction with us. And right now we have many different names to describe, names for God, because there are many different ways of describing his interactions, because it seems to be coming from so many different directions. But ultimately it'll be Hashem echad, ushmo echad. His name will be one, and it'll be clear to the world that absolute echad. Amnam, Yisroel shezachu l'torato hamitit, the nation of Israel who merited his true Torah, yodim ha'emet hazeh. We know this. We don't see it. We don't feel it yet. We don't perceive it. We're not there yet. But we know that this is the case. Umeidin alav gamata. And what we do is we give testimony about this even now in its not yet realized state. We give our testimony on that. Like the Pasuk says, Vatem edai nu'um Hashem. You are my witnesses, says Hashem. And of course, in the Pasuk, Shema Yisroel Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad, the way that it's written in the Torah, the ayin of Shema is written larger, and the dalid of Echad is written larger, which spells Eid. That is the testimony that we give at this not yet state of that which will be. Zeh zechut gadol lanu. And this is a tremendous zechut for us.
Can I make a comment about that?
Please, Uzi.
2 comments. The first comment is that not only the ayin and the dalid is the symbol for Eid, for witness, but the both paragraphs of Alenu starts with an Ayin and a Dalet, both of them. Al-Ken, right, and Echad on the second paragraph and so. Mm-hmm. But according to this witness, I must tell you that, I lately have been taking pictures of birds. I became a birder. And I go to the parks almost every day. And you get to know other people, and some of them are not Jewish. Some of them are, they love Jesus and so on and so forth. And they really love the Jews and everything. And they expect us to be the witness. And I have this friend who meets other Jews, right? But unfortunately, they are not good witnesses. They are atheists. And she cannot understand, that lady cannot understand it. So we're not doing a good job. Well,
we each have
as a nation,
to do a good job and to help others do a good job. That's all we can do.
So that's so, because in his days of the Ramchal, almost everybody was a Shomer Shabbat, but today it's not the case. And I bet you that if he saw, the author saw where we are today, he will be pretty upset.
I'm working on California, Uzi. I
I'm working.
delegate you to work on Florida, okay?
I tell you, I've been working for many years in California, helping you out, trying to help you
I
out.
appreciate that. Okay, let's go a little further. I apologize. I couldn't start earlier today, but Mincha is earlier today. I need to stop in about 5 minutes. Okay, and then we'll be off for a few weeks because we have Sukkot, we have Shmini Atzeret, and then I'm in Israel. But then once I get back, then already we'll be changing the clock. Yeah, good. Yeah. So then already tomorrow will be 6:30. So we'll be set at 5:45 again. Well, let's finish this paragraph so we can get to Beth. A good place to pause. Okay. The way that God governs this world, his heavenly assemblages, works on it two shifts, two 12-hour shifts. There is Hanhagat Hayom, the day shift, and the night shift. As we explained, B'chelik Shlishi Berak Rishon, B'chol Boker B'erev Mitchadshim Asdarim, U'Mishmerot Malachim L'Tafkidam. Every morning and every evening, that's when there is a new shift, a renewed system of the Mishmarot, of the shifts of the Malachim, of the angels, for L'Tafkidam, for their tasks. Could be Seder Anagah, according to the way God has arranged this. V'ulam. So that's what's happening in the heavens. There's a new shift every morning and every evening. V'ulam anachnu b'nei Yisroel, we b'nei Yisroel, we've got the shifts down here in this world. And therefore, nitchayavnu la'id, therefore we've got to testify, we've got to give our testimony, ala mitat yichudoi barach, on God's absolute oneness, b'chol b'chinot, for each of these shifts, for each of these aspects, perush, bein b'chinot hamitziyut. So we need to give our testimony morning and night. And what is our testimony on? In all aspects, meaning, bein b'chinat hamitziut, whether it's in regard to mitziut, the existence of God, shehu levado matzoy muchrach, that he alone is the only essential being, meaning not dependent upon anything else. Whereas everything else is dependent, comes from God, and is dependent on God. In regard to God's rule, his authority, that he alone is the only one who is in charge. And nothing can be done without the koach, the strength, and the reshut, and the authorization, the permission given to it by God. Or whether we're talking about hanhaga, God's interactions with us, the hashgacha pratit, the providence.
Hanhaga is conduction.
I'm sorry?
Hanhaga is how God conducts the world.
Yeah, which is the providence, the hashgacha pratit. Even though there are all of these different factors coming about, things happening, rabot, many, gdolot, great, amukot, deep, eina misavev ela echad. The one who is spinning all of that is all one, God. The eina tachlit ela echad. And the purpose of all that is also a single purpose. Dahainu, meaning, Hu Yibarach Shemo HaMesavev et HaKol. He is the one who is spinning everything El Tachlit HaShleimut HaAmiti, towards this Tachlit, the goal, the purpose, which is absolute Shleimut. The Afapi She'ein Davar Zeh Galui Ata, even though it's not clear, it's not revealed now. Be'emet hinehu amitat hadavar kachu. But that is the absolute truth. Ultimately, everything will become yigaleh, revealed, yivada, and known absolutely. But until that point, what do? With each of the changing of the shifts, we've got to give our testimony to each shift. Therefore, we have the Shema b'shachvecha uvkumecha. During the Zman Shechiva, we have the Shema of the evening, where we give our Eidut, Shema Yisroel Shem Elokeinu Hashem Echad, that He is the Mitziyut, He is the Shlita, He is the Hanagah. And every morning, when there's a new shift, then we again have to have our Shema of Boker, Uvkumecha. And that is how we align ourselves with these heavenly forces, these heavenly groups, these heavenly charges, and we step up and we do our part of giving the Eidut at a time when the world does not yet understand it, does not yet see it, and we have Torato Emet, we have the Torah that lets us know that even though we don't see it, that is the Mitziyut, and Bayom Hahu, Yeh Hashem Echad, Ushmo Echad. I need to run because I got Mincha now upstairs by the Sfardic Minyan. Let me wish everybody a Gemar Chatima Tova and a wonderful Yom Tovim all coming up. And we will resume Bezrat Hashem in November. I know it's not like a ways off, but we have 2 weeks and then Israel, and then we'll be in November, Bezrat Hashem, back to our regular timing and regular